Good morning to you and welcome. It's the second hour of Traxx Momentum on this marvelous Monday, October the 28th, 2024. My name is Anil on the mic and I'm back on the grind, back being rostered for Momentum. It's been a very long time since I conducted interviews, so I'm very excited to have my maiden conversation after quite a while, being away from having guests. And as you know, Health on Traxx is a broad topic that we chose to have on Mondays so that you can start off your week being informed so that you can make better health choices. You know, we talk about things concerning your health because we care. At TRAXXfm, we truly do care about your health. And as you are well aware of, we always pick on topics that can help make you healthier and make you better informed so that you can make better choices. And today we're going to teach you on how you can make better choices on your food habit. And we're exploring something that is truly essential, which is From Plate to Health, the Ministry of Health's diet formula to conquer modern illnesses. And why this matters is simply because what we eat, I believe, and we strongly believe, what we eat can truly impact the quality of our lives. And as the saying goes, you are what you eat, so you better watch what you eat. And a man who's making a return into the studios to talk to us about this is Ben Chee. He's a senior nutritionist. One very memorable quote that I will never forget that he advised me. His last words of wisdom that he imparted on me was, "Suku suku separo." And I still remember that. Ben, welcome back.
Thank you so much, DJ, for having me back here.
You're welcome. How are you?
I'm doing fabulous.
You're always looking fabulous. Always looking out of shape.
As always.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's jump into our topic today. This is something that I've just briefly read about before. There's, things like diseases like diabetes and cancer and all that.
Yeah.
These are, I understood, I was made aware that it's man-made, right? Like 200-300 years ago, these diseases never really existed. But because of our eating habits, the kinds of food we eat, saturated food, processed food, things are very unnatural to the human body, has slowly, created these kinds of diseases. Now, before we talk about dietary choices, explain to us what modern illnesses are, Ben.
Lovely, all right. So just to set the context, when you're referring to modern illnesses, just like what DJ you had said, so we're referring to diseases that doesn't happen or may not have existed in the first place when we're looking at 200-300 years ago. So think of diseases like diabetes, okay? Think of cardiovascular diseases like heart attack, stroke, right? Maybe in the past, yes, they do, but the frequency, all right, overweight, obesity, right? These kind of things are prevalent in society nowadays, right? And if you were to look at some videos from the past, like New York cities, right? People in the 1900s, they're all very
slim.
I mean, across the board, But now, due to the change of the lifestyle, the technology, tools, cars, lack of mobility, we have been seeing an increase in all these illnesses. And just for context, if you look at Malaysia right now, in fact, based on the most recent report, 54% or 54.5% of people, population adults, they are on the higher end, right? So we're talking about overweight, obesity, 54.5%. And research actually states that if we were to look at ahead in the next 10 years, guess where we're looking at?
The numbers may double.
Yeah, okay. Doubles means 100%, right? Maybe not double. But just for context, obesity population, 19% in the next 10 years, is predicted to go up to 40%. 40.
Wow.
Yeah, just think about that.
Can't imagine.
And then diabetes, now we're looking at 1 out of 5 adults. Hypertension, 1 out of 3.
Yeah.
And this trend is not going to go anywhere. It's just going to go up and up. So there is a need for us to look into this as a nation to combat this and find solutions to address this permanently.
Wow.
All right?
Looking at the pace that things are going, I think 50 years back, who do I have? Actually, imagine this. If everybody was slim, 50 years back, you could fit 10 people in an elevator. And maybe in 10 years from now, maybe only 3 maximum. Sorry, no more people. Too big.
We have a double-size elevator. Absolutely.
And so I think we have come to this point because of our food choices, Ben, as you mentioned.
It's not just the food choices, but I do think it's a combination of stress, a combination of the lack of mobility. It's a combination of everything, and also the change of perception that it's okay. Being we're comfortable. Maybe people are just not aware of the dangers. I'm not sure, but it seems everyone is comfortable having this problem.
So if it's not only food, if it's stress, then what else contributes to modern illnesses being very common today?
I personally, based on my experience, this insight that I got out from my whole journey as being a nutritionist, I always thought that diet is the problem. Well, diet is part of the problem for sure, but I do feel that the main problem is actually due to a lot of our lifestyle stress, emotional challenges. And it's because of those emotional challenges that we face in life, sometimes we just don't know how to deal with it. And food just became an avenue for us to find comfort. I'm not saying everyone, I'm not saying that, but it's just what I'm seeing in majority of my patients. Okay, I'm talking about patients who may be on the higher weight. They may be experiencing yo-yo dieting for years. They may be experiencing guilt, frustrations when it comes to overeating. That the difficulty of finding peace with their food. That kind of people. Those kind of population. So I still feel that emotions are the reasons what drives us to perform a certain thing, and food is just there. It's just something that is easily accessible, that produce that pleasure, that dopamine, that happy hormones that make us just keep eating. All right. So that is what I see. That is the trend. Okay, I'm not saying that is the case, but that is the trend due to nowadays stress. Right? We have stress and anxieties. Things like that.
I get stressed when I see a plate of rice just lying around there. I feel sad. I'm like, I got to do justice to you. Come on, Earth, put that on that plate for you. Come on, let me do you. I'll eat that down. I feel stressed and I feel sad, but that it's sometimes, like you mentioned, the emotional attachment that we have.
Absolutely, emotional attachment towards food, and also it's not just one dimension. Like we are hunger, right? People always thought that when we eat, it's always about hunger.
It's like the evolution of human beings. Like we relied on food. At the initial stages of the evolution of human beings, we ate to survive, right? And okay, you I think you would say it better. So we ate to survive, and then at one point we slowly developed, or rather discovered different flavors, and we experimented with these flavors to accentuate the food we were eating. Otherwise, it would just been grilled meat or whatever.
Absolutely,
accentuate, and then there was sugar, salt, spices. The entire gamut got into the picture, and it adulterated our taste buds.
Adulterated, yes.
I think that's So I think we need to find that fine balance so we are able to program it into our brain that we need to eat whatever that's only necessary, and sort of tell our brains. But that's the hard part, isn't it?
Absolutely, that's the hard
part. To tell yourself, people always tell you, stop eating when you're full. But that's the time you feel like, I really enjoy this. Like I want
to continue, right?
Yeah. How do you do that?
Well, this is the challenging part for most people, right? Because as I say, it's a very psychological, it's a very subconscious thing that many people have developed over the years, and it's hard to just stop it right away. But I do believe that with the practice of mindfulness, mindfulness in general, when I talk about mindfulness, not just in terms of a diet, but being more conscious about how you decide your life, how you want to lead your life. Okay, whether is it just waking in the morning, getting that glass of water, that mindfulness that, okay, I'm hydrating myself, I'm going for a short walk, that mentality can slowly flip that thing. But it doesn't happen within a short time period, all right? It definitely takes practice, mindfulness, consciousness, right? And eventually, I'm pretty confident that diet part will be taken care of. But it takes some time. And I've been seeing it in my patients, right? We have worked with clients for over 8 months. I mean, we're not talking about losing weight, right? Because the whole point is about the mindfulness, right? So they felt emotionally better. With the transformation, they felt emotionally better. They have been able to have less guilt with their food choices. They are not demonizing that this is food is good, this is bad. All that thing is taken care of because they have changed the narrative. They have changed the psychological struggle they have associated with food. And I think that is the trickiest part for most people. And I think that is the thing that we have to address. Because a lot of the quick diets, a lot of the so-called programs or whatever diets or supplements out there promising you for the best result, the short quick fixes, those things are just going to create more problem in the long place, because that fuels that guilt and over restricting and dieting cycle, and it's never ever be able to tap into the root problem, which is the mindfulness and also the stress. Yes, because as I say, we don't eat just because of hunger alone. We eat maybe due to, like what you said, Anil. It could be emotional factors. It could be interpersonal factors. Perhaps maybe you're having a good time with your friends. Right. Maybe a family. It's a culture.
Some finger food while you're having.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It could be your work. It's a habit, like a situation maybe when you're home, when you're tired after a long day of work. You're back home. You're comfortable in front of TV, right? Or for example, let's say if you're just working, sometimes you need something to munch and to feel that you're activating your brain. So it's a lot of these things that are triggering you, triggering us, everyone, not just everyone else, to eat. And of course, being in an obesogenic environment. Okay, so in simplest terms, is an environment where it fosters us to put on weight. Think about technology. Think about all the
sedentary lifestyle.
Think about the change in how we work. Back in the days we're all in a factory, but nowadays we're just comfortable right on our desk working, sort of a brain, right? And a lot of things, right? To talk about accessibility of food options nowadays. We have, like 15 years ago, where is all the food delivery services? Think about it. After 8 p.m. is like it's done. But now,
come on. It's great you mentioned that. Because it all boils back down to our individual choices, and it's like you mentioned, mindfulness, a psychological approach.
To
make informed decisions. I'll give you myself as an example. Sometimes when I have a meal plan, when I try to stick to a meal plan, like a diet, for instance, right? And I'm going to cut down on my rice, or cut down on anything that is not good for myself. I would start off with that meal plan, but after a while, my mind just keeps wandering off because I'm missing having something. Like I don't feel like I've had a meal. And I think that's where a lot of people slack off, like, they relapse and they don't stick to a meal plan.
Absolutely.
We'll go in for a break. When we come back, we'll find out how we can better stick to meal plans that are planned for us.
For sure.
Today on Health on Traxx, I'm Anil on the mic, and I'm speaking to Ben Chee. He's a senior nutritionist, a very experienced person, and speaking to us about the Ministry of Health's diet formula to conquer modern illness. Don't go anywhere. Health on Traxx. We'll be right back. Good morning and welcome back to Health on Traxx. My name is Anil on the mic, and Health on Traxx is a segment where we talk about your health, because that's what matters to us. And today in the studios, I'm speaking to Chee, a senior nutritionist, a very good friend of mine, and he's speaking to us about the Ministry of Health's diet formula to conquer modern illnesses. So earlier on, Ben, before the break, you spoke to us about modern illnesses, and we touched on how we need to have a mindful approach in maintaining a diet. Now, using myself as an example, I've always wanted to, have a meal plan, stick to eating healthy, eating clean, but I've never, ever saw myself seeing it through. Why do we slack off? Why?
I think, first of all, honestly speaking, Anil, it's very courageous of you to accept it in the first place.
Guilty as charged.
I really appreciate that. I think that is the first step to change, is having the courage to accept that we do face some challenges, right? And it's very normal, Anil. Like many people, not just you, but I would say most of the people would struggle this, right? And the reason is simple, right? I think first of all is the attitude towards it. Like, first of all, how fast you're expecting to see the results. I think nowadays people tend to be very impatient. Me, myself, very impatient as well.
Okay.
So being impatient can be one of the reasons why we're not getting the results. We're working for short-term gratification, and whenever we don't see progress, that's when we kind of flop, right? So I think that could be one of the reasons, the impatient.
Right.
And being impatient comes down to the expectations, not from you, but what the marketing, what society had told us, that you can actually see fast, quick results within a short period of time by following this. So by having this wrong perception towards whatever formula, whatever diet you're following, and when we don't get that, what happens? What happens, Anil?
We get upset.
Frustrated.
We got frustrated. We're like, no, this is not what I paid for.
Absolutely.
This is not what the label said. I am going to go back to the pharmacy, and I'm going to show this to the pharmacist, and I'm going to tell him, hey, you said this could do this, and do that.
Absolutely.
Not even a fraction of it.
Absolutely.
I want my money back.
Absolutely, right? So thank you so much. I love how you present yourself. I hope that's exactly reality. Absolutely, and that would be me as well. If I would be triggered if I'm buying something and I'm not getting what it's supposed to do.
Oh, let me add.
Sure,
once you return it back to the pharmacist and get your money back, you walk out. I am going to get that plate of nasi lemak with chicken.
Absolutely. You feel frustrated. You feel like you have gone through a tedious process of dieting, and now everything just seems to not work out. You feel more stressed, and when you feel more stressed, you want to revenge. Right. That revenge, that frustration is a feeling where people get stuck in this cycle.
Wait.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I just discovered something.
Tell me, what is it?
Wow, revenge eating, huh?
Yeah. Revenge eating. It is a psychological thing. Sometimes it's a revenge, right?
So, wow, we've been doing this to ourselves without even realizing that we're taking revenge on ourselves.
Absolutely, right. Because the reason why we do this is because it's a coping mechanism where we want to get rid of certain feelings, right? For example, feelings of being frustrated, feeling of being told off, I don't know, right? It is a way of how we cope with certain feelings.
Incremental suicide.
We don't know, right? We don't know,
but I mean,
we don't know about
we're
it,
slowly
right?
doing it to us without even realizing.
Absolutely, right. Some people, I would say, some people, they do revenge in a different ways. Some people, for them to vent out their frustrations, to vent out their stress, what would they do? Right? Food would be an avenue, but shopping, mindless shopping. Just go keep on buying things, and then everything just
put a hole in your pocket and then
they don't mind. They feel good. They feel good after getting something, but they may not be using it. They may have lots of items at home, right? Some of them would go for alcohol, and worst case scenarios, unfortunately, drug addicts, right?
Okay, speaking about that, alcohol, drug addiction now,
and
I want you to tell us now, Ben, what sort of dietary choices or what kind of foods that actually can lead to us suffering from modern illnesses?
Absolutely. Talk about all the processed stuff, right? The sugary stuff, basically adulterated food, like what you mentioned, DJ. Basically food that heightens our sensitivity, our palate, way over than what normal food can do. So those things will mess up our health, mess up our hormones, give us wrong perception of, oh, this is pleasure, but actually it's not. All right, that heat is so high. For example, if you're taking like sugar, just plain sugar itself, right? Versus, let's say, a sugar cane, right, where you have to chew it, fresh from the farm, that entire experience is different, right? All right. So, for example, I would say sugar. Okay, the most
putting a spoon of sugar in your mouth versus chewing sugar cane. So when you chew sugar cane, you're actually replenishing every ounce of energy that you've used.
Absolutely. I don't know. Yeah, but
maybe
exactly. So what industrialization does is it gives us a shortcut to access all this readily available sugar in abundance that our body has not adapted to getting that in the first place, because our body in itself, like through these years of transformation, our body has not been able to catch up this rapid rise of sugar in the body or this rapid rise of flavor, because all these things happen within the past 50 years, if you think about it. And talk about mankind, talk about civilization, we talk about, I don't know, man, from Homo sapiens, I don't know, that genetic change, that transformation is just way too fast for our body to catch up, right? Maybe after the next 100 years, probably our body has adapted to managing that sugar, but for now, definitely I would say, Anil, no. All right, so sugar is the one.
All right.
Salt, excess salt, sugar and salt would be, I would say, the two
Ben, okay,
problems.
Let's cut the chase here, man. I mean, I gotta speak for the I gotta speak for our listeners now.
Sure.
Sorry, but you dietitians always tell us cut the sugar, cut the salt. But how much is too much?
Right.
It's a valid question, right?
It is a valid question. So
we cook. And we say salt to taste.
Yeah.
So we keep adding salt in the curry until we got umami, right?
Lovely. Yeah. the MSG.
But how much is too much, right? Achu, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So I think before we answer that question, right, I would like us to change the question.
I'm bringing the best out of you.
Yeah, definitely, right.
Yes.
Because I think that's where most people look at, how much is too much?
Yes.
How much should I eat? But actually, I think the question we should ask is, why do you crave sugar in the first place?
Right.
If, let's say, you don't get that feeling of craving of sugarness, that is not the problem you face, because you just don't want sugar, because your body is not feeling like it. So I think we should take a step back. Okay, as much as we talk about how much you take, but without addressing the root cause of why your body is telling you, whether it is physically, emotionally,
sugar.
to grab that sugar, to grab that cookie, to grab that sugary drink, to grab that whatever tea or anything, right? Then we will not be able to fix the problem. Never.
I see.
Never able, right? So now the question is, how do we get that in the first place? Okay. As I said, as what we have just discussed, it could be emotional reasons, it could be interpersonal reasons. So we have to look into that, because I would say the majority of the time, most people, when they're stressed, for example, I'm just saying one scenario, stress, okay, when they're stressed, when they're anxious, they want something to comfort themselves. Or for example, someone who may be bored, they're just bored at home, they have nothing to look forward to, they just want something to stimulate their senses. All right.
So a bag of chips.
Yeah, it's but if you were to ask them, like, do you actually taste the chips? Do you actually enjoy every single bite and taste it like, I don't know, like a Michelin star? I don't know, probably not.
No.
But by the time you finish it, it's like, oh my gosh, I've finished everything.
Yeah.
They'll be like surprised, like, damn, I just finished that whole bag of chips without knowing it.
It's so addictive, right? You just want to keep putting it in your mouth.
This is just this because you need some stimulus to make you feel good, or probably you are thinking something. Maybe you're not watching a movie. For example, maybe some people, they're watching a movie and they're taking snacks. Maybe you're not really watching it. Maybe you're just there to kill your boredom, munching things, but you're thinking about some of your stresses. Maybe the future stuff, your work, something that's bothering you, and that is a problem. Right? The problem is never how much sugar you should eat. Okay, because if that is not fixed, if I told you not to take sugar, you would say, Ben, I'm struggling now.
Yeah.
I need sugar.
I need
my hands are trembling. Yeah.
Yes.
And when I talk about hands are trembling, there's a high possibility that this is a biological issue. All right, especially when you have too much sugar in your body, when it dips down, just like how, the pleasure and the pleasure hormones, the unpleasure hormones, right? Simple as that. Our body is a self-regulating mechanism, all right? It will always bring back to baseline, all right?
Okay.
Whether if you're too happy, you won't be happy for 10 days. Come on, let's be serious. Or you won't be sad for 10 days, okay?
Yeah.
There will be moments in time where it kind of counterbalance. So when you have so much of sugar, so much of happiness, it breaks up over here, right up here, and what happens?
What happens?
Imagine if a car is up from the 10th floor, it's going down.
Down.
It just drops faster. Absolutely. So that kaboom, that dip, going down under the baseline to that dip, that here, that thing is giving all those things. It's giving all those symptoms, the trembling, the craving, and that's the reason why, as I say, how you follow a good diet plan is, first thing in the morning, always start with a savory breakfast. All right, don't take sugar as a first meal. Now try to balance that, because if you don't balance that, the stress, the emotional reasons, on top of the biological reasons, would just make things worse.
Okay.
All right. So that's why diet is always important, right? Yeah.
Okay. Now, to your professional services, I think we've sort of hired you to come over here to provide the best professional dietary recommendations for our listeners. And I believe you've even brought something similar to your Suku Sparrow plate with
lovely.
the diagram. So take it away. Off you go. What's a word of advice you have for our listeners? Yeah.
All right. So this Suku Sparrow concept has been there for, I would say, many years. Okay. Many years. But I'm just very surprised that why majority of Malaysians are still unaware of this amazing concept, which is designed by the Ministry of Health. And even in Singapore, they have another version called the My Healthy Plate. It's exactly the same thing. So how it works is simple as that. I'm not asking you to go on any diets. I'm not asking you to restrict anything. Nothing at all. All right. So how it works is, first of all, just imagine you have a plate, and this plate is not too big, not too small. We're talking
By
about
the way, for a
22
visual
inches.
cue, our listeners, if you want to see the plate that Ben is actually holding on, you can watch us live on TikTok. Azura, we're on TikTok, and are we on YouTube? Aren't you? We're on YouTube and Facebook as well. TRAXXfm official Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and TikTok. Okay, go ahead, Ben.
All right. So the idea is always like, imagine, let's say you have on average, DJ, how many meals? 3 meals a day?
Me?
I mean,
I have about. I actually only have 1 meal a day.
1 meal a day.
One
Okay.
big meal.
Okay, one big meal. Right. So it depends on everyone's preferences. Okay. But let's say on average, let's say most Malaysians, we have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Right. There'll be 3 meals a day. So how it works is, imagine for 3 meals a day, the idea is you want to be putting the ingredients according to the right portion. All right. So if you can see on our bottom right, this is basically the carbohydrates, right? So this is basically 1/4 of your plate.
So that's the
suku. Exactly, that's where it comes from.
Okay.
And another suku is actually for your protein, right? The protein which comes from fish, chicken, meat, or if you're vegetarian, beans, right? Tofu, lentils, dal, right? Those things can be packed with protein. And another half, it would be comprising of fruits and vegetables.
Right.
Simple as that. It's just basically if we can follow this method in whatever food we eat, whether is it your bihun soup, your nasi ayam, it still works, right? Imagine if you're going out for nasi ayam, can you request for more cucumbers?
No.
Right?
Yeah.
If let's say it's difficult, if there's you can't access to cucumbers, can you bring some salads together? And it's about finding ways, right? I mean, at some point we need to find a solution, right? We can't just say we just have to accept it, right? For example, can you order nasi ayam or whatever, and then try to look from the next stall if they sell economy rice, right?
Yeah.
Can you add vegetables on that? So this basically, the idea is try to keep as close to this formula, and I can almost be guaranteed that you will definitely see improvements in your energy levels, your bloating. You may lose some weight in the process. Okay. A lot of things, all right? And I want you to experience this. And the good news is you don't have to do it more than 1 month, okay?
What's the size of that plate? You have a diet.
22 cm.
That's very important to mention as
Absolutely.
well. Very big plate out there.
Yeah.
I have a very big plate.
All right. Because you're eating 1 meal a day. Come on.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
Simple to put it for perspective, Anil. If let's say if you're having 1 meal a day,
Okay.
just imagine you're tripling the portion for this, and put it as a meal.
So Ben,
That's fine.
you just gave me an idea. After my show, once I'm done, I'm gonna change my plate.
Yeah, I know. I
Make
made
a smaller plate
okay.
because I'm compensating. If the plate is too big, I'm like, I've got to fill up. I've got to fill. Hey, there's still some more space left here. Come on, let's add some more rice there. No, there's still some more space here. Oh, come on, you're vacant. Let's add some rice. Excellent. Now the plate is full.
So probably I will bring that up to the Ministry of Health, where we're going to come up with a bigger plate just for Anil. Okay? Hopefully. Well, we have to be inclusive.
Yes, you got.
Right, we have to be inclusive, right?
I don't know whether that's going to be suku sparo suku.
Suku Sparrow versus DJ Anil.
DJ Anil. We're going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap things up. Today, Health on Track. It's a great, fun conversation about diet and also modern illnesses with a senior nutritionist, Ben Chee. My name is Anil on the mic. Don't go anywhere. Health on Tracks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Health on Traxx, right here on TRAXXfm's Traxx Momentum. My name is Anil on the mic, and I'm going to tell you, the conversation that I just had with Ben Chee is by far the best conversation that you can eavesdrop to, better than one that you will hear two guys sitting and talking in a coffee shop, isn't it, Ben? Welcome back, Ben. Thank you for being with us. Now, before we let you go for the day, any words of advice that you have for our listeners on dietary choices? Yeah.
Dietary choices, yeah. Sure. So, as much as I would say, being a nutritionist, as much as I want to advocate nutrition, I still feel that we should value balance. We should value a more holistic approach. So what I mean holistic means we shouldn't just look at health from, say, it's a diet problem, or it's an emotional problem, or it's a environmental problem. We should try to look at it as a whole, right? Everything brings us to where we are today, all right? So my word of advice is always take a holistic approach towards fixing that problem.
Okay.
All right. It's like, how to say, it's like a chicken and egg thing. Like, for example, let's say if you're someone who struggles with eating emotionally, for example, right? You can't just say, I'm going to fix my diet. It never works that way.
Never.
Right?
I learned that today.
Or for example, if you are someone that's struggling with eating habits, but you are more towards an interpersonal thing, maybe perhaps someone would comment about your diet, why you're eating clean, and you just want to try to fit into that group of friends, just to feel that you're part of a community that we enjoy food, because you don't want to be left out, right? Some people would be afraid of being out from the environment. So we want to know exactly what are the triggers, what are the problems, and we fix them together.
Ben, parents and teachers, they always scare their children and their students.
Yeah.
They scare them by telling, if you don't study, this is what's going to happen to you. If you don't eat healthy, this is what's going to happen to you. If you don't eat your medicine, this is what's going to happen to you. You know why they scare them? They scare them because they care for them. And we care for our listeners.
Yeah.
So let's scare them a little bit. What will happen if someone doesn't maintain a healthy diet? Just give us a very brief picture. What will happen if you don't maintain a healthy diet? From a dietitian's perspective.
Okay. From the worst case scenario, I'm not talking about, is it theoretical?
Yes.
It's all about facts, all right?
Please.
What you experience is, of course, you will gain weight. You start to develop a lot of problems. You'll be tired, right? You start to have joint pain, knee pains, breathing problems, right? You get stressed even more easily. Your whole body is inflamed. Worst case, that thing leads to high cholesterol, high sugar, diabetes, cardiovascular disease, stroke, cancer.
Worst case scenario, cancer as well.
Yes, absolutely. It's proven. It's proven that diet has a direct link to cancer, right? If you're taking processed foods, if you're taking too much sugar, things like that.
Yeah.
Right. For example, someone who's there's like, for example, the past 2 days, I've been in hospital.
Yeah.
And diet. If you're taking sugar, it will actually exacerbate the cancer problems.
Yeah.
So those are the things that you will feel. But I think that's the worst case. The worst case is not just about you.
Okay.
But it also affects your people around you.
Okay.
Think about it.
And the good news is that if you need any help, listen out. You're not alone in this. Okay?
Exactly.
Just like, we scared you. We got to scare you because we got to tell you what reality is out there. If you don't have maintain a healthy diet, these are the things that will happen to you. But if you need help, you're not alone. There are people like Ben Chee who are out there. He's easily searchable on social media. You can look him up, reach out to him, and get the advice you need. And with that, I'd like to wrap up today's edition of Health on Traxx. Ben, once again, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. You always bring your energy, your mood, your great smile. By looking at your face, I can tell that you always eat healthy, and I'm always and I'm trying to up you +1. So let's see.
Thank you.
If we both would look anywhere close to each other.
For sure. I'm looking forward. Right? The province on the corner. New year, new me.
Yes.
Anil.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Let's do this.
Thank you. Yes, I'll take that. Thank you, Ben. You have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Anil.
Bye.
My pleasure.
All right, that's a wrap for today's edition of Health on Traxx with Ben Chee. He just gave us a lot of detailed insights on how we can make better food choices for ourselves. If you missed out on this interview, worry not. You can always catch the replay by visiting our official YouTube channel, our Facebook page, and catch the replay over there. Coming up in less than 5 minutes is the news at 12, and then after that, Anil on the mic will be back with another Aloha Hour for you on Traxx Momentum. Don't go anywhere.